Hi, this is Todd Albee with SilverFire. Now let's talk about lighting and using the SilverFire rocket stove. So there's two ways that you can really light a rocket stove. There's many more than two, but two of the ways that I like to do it. You can use a system where you actually just light your fire right on top of the fuel sticks and insert them. Or perhaps you're a more traditional fire starter and want to start off with paper and a little tinder, light the fire, then add your fuel sticks. So we'll show you kind of both methods. So this is typically an hour cook time, and so we'll just set those fuel sticks like we're going to cook with those. But what I'll do here is just do it the lazy way. It's just taking my fuel sticks, and in the front here I have a cotton ball soaked in alcohol. Another method that a lot of people use is Vaseline, petroleum jelly in a cotton ball, especially if they're going to be in an area where the fuel is going to be wet. Those are just several of the many techniques. You can obviously use a lighter, a match, a flint, a magnesium rod, whatever your preferred method. Just for the ease of the film here, I'll use a butane lighter. Another one of my favorites that I'll show you in a moment here is linseed, which is just simply linseed oil on tack cloth that's available. It's very inexpensive in any hardware. I really like the tack cloth because it gives me a real even distribution of flame. So we'll go ahead and light this. We have the alcohol going. Now we'll do the petroleum. We'll see they're both burning about the same. That's how easy it is. Then I'll just open my door, set my sticks in, and I want to keep them about 1/8 of an inch apart and just keep metering them into the back of the stove like that. And we had our petroleum jelly fall off, but you saw how easy it is to light the stove. So that's how you can, one way to operate the SilverFire Survivor. And now let's show you the more traditional way. So I'm going to take my fuel sticks out of the stove, and we'll use the new ones over there. So the traditional way is maybe you want to just take some paper. Now notice that I've torn, there's a grain in paper. If you take like a newspaper and hold it one direction, there's always a grain. You don't ball up paper. A lot of people I see that light fires ball up paper real tight and turn it back into mass. You want light and fluffy. The same width of a match flame is ideal and a more efficient way to start a fire. So we'll just lay some of this paper in the combustion chamber, and you can see I can go through the top of the stove if I want, or I can go through the door if I want. It doesn't matter either way. I can just add some light, fluffy, flammable paper, and then I'll take some little twigs. I have some little twigs here, and just simply break some twigs, and we can throw those on top of the paper in the combustion chamber. And you notice I'm just loosely letting them drop in. If you ever have problems with the Survivor, it's probably because your fuel's wet or compromised when you're first lighting it. It will burn green fuel, but green fuel will smoke. So I'll just take a generous handful of twigs here to light it up. We'll ignite those twigs. With the light, or maybe it's fir droppings or some pine cone, or it doesn't matter what it is, any flammable biomass. And we'll get a little smoking out of this pine cone because I picked it up out in the street just a couple days ago, and it's been raining quite a bit. So that will smoke a little bit, and that'll give you a little idea of the differences of biomass. So now I'll just simply light the stove. So I'll just reach up, hold the door open. Once the stove's going, never touch the door because it'll be hot and it'll burn you. So now we stick in our fuel sticks on the fuel rack, and we'll just keep metering them in, and within a minute or so as soon as that pine cone burns off, that wet pine cone will be to a very clean burn. Already we can see we have a very clean burn here. The smoke, the CO, the CO2, the methane is all reburning in the stove as actual fuel. That's why we can cook for such prolonged times. And that's all there is to a rocket stove, folks. Just keep metering it in. Keep your sticks about 1/8 of an inch apart, nice and tight, so they gasify. And then you just want to keep metering them in, and as soon as you light your stove, you're ready to start cooking with a rocket stove. Another way we could have lit the stove, of course, was just to have started with the linseed oil, tack cloth, especially if it was wet, my fuel, and that's a great way to start the stove too. And now we'll just keep metering these in over a long period of time. Now you notice that I have very little sticks, half diameter or less is ideal. If I'm doing a real viscous chili or stew or something and I want to use a thicker piece, I can, but maybe I'll lay just one big piece in. You also, if you prefer, you can always remove the pot and add your fuel from the top. Once the stove's ignited, you don't want to be adding fuel through the door with your hands or you'll be burned. So we'll just drop some more fuel down. And away it goes again. And that's all there's to operating the SilverFire Survivor rocket stove. Thank you.